Give me a D and a G. It's the Dunga Show. It's the Dunga Show.
Hey, dog, your beard's looking flickin' great, my man.
Thanks, Gus. I've been using the Bush Beard Wash.
The what now?
At Bush Beard, they know that every man with a beard is a unique beardo. And that's why they offer a wide range of products to cater to every beard's needs. Whether you have a long and luscious mane or prefer to keep it short and sharp, their products will help you achieve that perfect look.
From the nourishing beard oil and balm to the refreshing beard wash, their products are made with all-natural local ingredients to keep that beard healthy, soft, and lustrous. The beard comb and brush are designed to detangle and shape your beard, making sure you always look your best.
At Bush Beard, they're dedicated to providing the best possible grooming experience for all the beardos out there. So why settle for an average beard when you can have a glorious, well-groomed one? Try Bush Beard products today and unleash the full potential of your beard.
Be sure to use Dog and Gus 10 and get 10% off your order.
Bush Beard, the small town brand with the big old Canadian heart. Welcome to the Dog and Gus podcast on Feel It Radio. Oh my God, I said it wrong.
What happened there?
I don't know. Welcome
Start
to the Dog and Gus show on Whitewater Rocks Radio.
Now on Whitewater Rocks Radio.
Whatever.
What happened, bro?
I had a mind fart.
Did you ever?
Maybe a stroke.
Pull it together, man.
I can't.
What do we got going on today?
We have Wade from Parliament of Owls.
What's up, Wade?
Not much. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming and taking a little time out of your day. We appreciate it as well.
And yeah, don't mind that bad introduction. We're much better than that. I'm much better than that.
That's okay.
It's not what I heard.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, damn. He already got your number.
Exceeding your expectations.
Wow.
Right now.
Already.
We're 44 seconds in.
Yeah, and we've already exceeded our expectations.
Amazing.
Nice.
All downhill.
So, I obviously, you've been out for a little while with the Parliament of Owls. We've seen a couple singles come out. No Friend of Mine comes to mind. Where do these, like, when you write a song, does it come to you right away, or is every song different? How do you kind of come across your progress there?
Well, I think I think it's a very unique way of writing music. I don't continuously write. So whenever it's time to write a song, that's whenever I kind of open up the floodgates. I best describe it as kind of being a vessel. So I don't sit down and say, okay, this is kind of what I'm looking for. This is kind of the bridge, and I want to go to this, end up on this chord, and I want it to be this long, and I want these words to fit in here. What generally happens is I'll just be kind of riffing away, and something will just come to me on guitar, and it's, like I said, it's kind of, subconscious. So it's not like I'm purposely saying, like, I want to make it sound like this. It just kind of comes out, and to be honest, a lot of times I'm just as kind of shocked and maybe impressed, as anybody with it. If somebody says, well, where'd that song come from? I don't know. It just kind of comes. And then what happens is that song or that riff just goes in repeat in my head. So when I go to bed, that riff will constantly be just repeating in my head. Every dream that I have, everything that goes on at night, it's just going and going and going. And slowly things kind of start to form in that song, of whether it be like phrasing of lyrics or phrasing of the riff. It kind of gets built a lot whenever I'm actually sleeping. And then slowly the lyrics kind of come into focus as well. So it's kind of like when I write a song, it's like remembering a dream. Whenever you first wake up, there's like little kind of bits. You're like, I think that happened. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I remember it was this and this and this. And that's how it goes. So I don't continuously write music for that sake, is I don't necessarily trust having all of these ideas in my head. So I like to kind of contain it. It's the same way that, because I kind of grew up being, I guess, kind of like into stoner rock and heavy music. And I knew that with doing Parliament of Owls, I wanted to limit it to a acoustic guitar bass. So whether I play on my own like acoustic sets or I play with the band, it needs to be based around an acoustic guitar and have that kind of be the limitations. And same goes with my songwriting, is that I don't try to write, have like 13 different songs on the go. I have like one or two songs that I dream about that come together, and then those are done, and then I can move on. So even if I'm kind of playing, just riffing around, if a good riff kind of comes to me, I'll quickly put it in a voice memo, but I won't kind of attack it until the other songs that I'm working on are done. And right now I'm in kind of that songwriting period. So I'm very conscious of what I'm listening to, because I don't ever want to be influenced by anything but what I'm kind of getting. You know, I'm not like one of those guys that believes in the universe, this or that, but it is an odd thing that I can't explain, that whenever I write a song, I don't necessarily consciously write it. It's just slowly in my brain starts to kind of come together. And whenever it's done and I record it, I'm like, oh, I guess that's what the song was. I don't know if that's the right or wrong way to write, but I don't know if there is a right or wrong way to write. But yeah, like I said, I'm conscious of not being influenced by much whenever I'm in that period. So whenever I'm not writing a song, I listen to different music. I watch different shows and stuff like that. But if I'm kind of in that songwriting mentality, I'll really limit what I'm getting influenced by, just so it doesn't get jaded. Because I kind of got caught. I have a song that I did about mid last year, maybe in the summertime. It was called WPRT, Wrong Place, Right Time. WP, yeah, that works out. I should know that. And that one, it kind of came from a riff that I'm like, that sounds really good. And it was a slowed down riff. And I play a lot now, and I write a lot in like kind of an open G hybrid, that I leave the E string, the high E in E, just so I could still kind of play pentatonic crap. But it was slowed down. I'm like, that sounds really groovy, until I realized that it was kind of a similar riff to, he's a country guy named, like Cotter Wall, I think is his name.
Coulter.
And he had a really good song. He has a lot of good songs, but like, I'm like, oh man, that's kind of that riff. And then I realized that it was a couple weeks prior to that, I was listening to that song. So it kind of bled into my songwriting. I said, okay, I got to stop doing that. And I kind of changed up how that phrasing of that song was. But yeah, that's how I write those songs. I don't really know. I kind of like to humor myself into thinking that there's still magic nowadays. So I kind of leave it be, instead of kind of dissecting on why or how or anything like that. But a lot of my songwriting, I'm in bed sleeping, and it's just over and over and over and over the riff and the phrasing. And that riff slowly bleeds into kind of, the end part of that riff. And then kind of some words in the phrasing kind of come together. And then before I know it, I kind of have a structure of how that song goes. But yeah, I don't think I'm crazy, please.
Oh,
I need to go now. This guy's nuts.
no, it was a great, it was a great answer.
No, it's just like everybody's process is different, like you said, right?
But imagine having that, like you and I don't have that brain where
No.
we're laying in bed and the riff's in our head.
Nope.
I mean, music's in our head probably at some point,
yeah.
but
yeah.
but because Coulter Wall, who you mentioned is awesome. I mean, I love that guy, so I can understand where that comes from. You kind of have a deep voice like him, but to consider that guy's 23 years old or something and he has that voice, he almost sounds like he's
60.
65.
Yeah,
We
and I
hate
think
him.
the thing that people don't kind of think about, because they'll hear that voice and say, what a good voice, but like, to learn how to be, because good music, and you can go down the line of, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, they don't necessarily have good voices, you know what I mean? But there's conviction. You believe in what they're saying. And for a guy that young to have that voice that you don't see, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's copying Robert Plant or something like that. You would see people through maybe the 80s that were trying to kind of emulate him. To be that confident in your own voice and have that conviction is the magic, you know what I mean, that I see with something like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
For sure. Now, I was at the show last night at Live on Elgin, and I commented on how you guys started your set. You're watching this band up there, and you got a big guy and a beard and a nice looking hat, by the way.
Thank you.
And they start off their set with Jolene, so I knew right away I like this band.
Yeah. You had Dog at Jolene.
Yeah, you had Dog at you did.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
actually had me before that, but it was pretty cool to. It was just because you're sitting there, you don't know what to expect, and all of a sudden Jolene starts, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? This is awesome."
Yeah, that's once again, those are limitations that I kind of choose to put on what we're doing. Is that I want to do something that is unexpected. I've worked really hard and worked really hard against it all my life to be a very unique person. That I only see the colors that I see. I try to look at everything subjectively. And for something like that, I think we catch a lot of people off guard, especially because I think we translate that song. It's a great song, but that song translates really well to how we do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so when you hear the first couple lines of me singing it, I don't think it's like, oh, what's this crap? It's like, okay, yeah, that's something. But yeah, it's a good song. I think because we cover a Brandy Carlisle song too, Raise Hell, and that one translates to my voice, I find, really well as well. We did that one about mid-set, but yeah, the thing with the owl stuff that we're doing, especially with the team that we have, the secret's going to be out soon enough. You know what I mean? Like, we've only been doing this. So whenever I first started singing and playing guitar at the same time, the very first time I ever performed to anybody on this planet, and I mean on this planet, singing and playing, was last June. So it's only been like, 11 months or so that I've played guitar and sang to anybody on the planet. That being said, like, our following is growing, but I started this process like at a dead stop. So it's not like I've been in the music industry for, 10, 15 years and have connections. Nobody knows who the hell I am. But I think, like, with a little bit more time and polishing, it won't be a secret any longer. You know what I mean? Like, I believe, especially when we play as a band, I play a lot of solo stuff, just kind of pay the bills and to kind of get proficient at what I do. But like, playing as a band, I think that we have such big potential to be very unique, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
I would say it's very unique. I mean, it sounds outlaw, but it's like, you have some tracks that are very outlaw to me, which I love. And, yeah, Dog was telling me how great your stage presence was amazing. So, I have to ask, I mean, I see all the flowers behind you. Are you a florist?
They're very much not real.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's kind
That's
of,
part of the stage.
I like the tacky funeral aesthetics, I guess.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I saw I think Faith No More, who I love. They did a tour a couple years ago, I think for the last album that they released, and like the aesthetics was very much that floral funeral, and I kind of definitely enjoy that. It doesn't make for good house guests, Everybody's like, why do you have a giant bird head and happy fake flowers? But
taxidermy.
I never said I was anybody but myself. So
yeah, it's amazing. No, please.
I was gonna make the joke that there's a corpse on the other side we can't see.
Yeah,
on the other side of the flowers.
Yeah, and we won't
standing up in the corner.
Yeah.
It's got to pay the bills.
Bro. I'm really doing this live from a funeral parlor, so it's my part-time job.
I like it.
It's awfully quiet in here.
Very good, very good, excellent, well done.
Oh my goodness! You gonna ask him what the name?
Yeah, I thought I would ask. A Parliament of Owls. Like, is there any underlining meaning, or is it just sort of a name that you came up with?
I think whenever I first kind of, because I started this with just myself. It was kind of to see if I could do this. And I guess for me, the term Parliament of Owls, because that's, I guess, the grouping of owls, the same as, murder of crow, pot of dolphins. It was kind of a play on that because it was just me, you know what I mean? So it was kind of my weird sense of humor of, calling it a group of something, but really it's just one person. Now, I've been fortunate to have a good team to expand on that. And I want, like, the Parliament of Owls name at some point to be a large group of, anybody that's kind of on my team. So whether it be other bandmates that kind of come and go, I would love to work with people that, could kind of come in on, say, a couple songs and come out. If they're in town, they can come up and play. Like, I'd love to kind of expand on that team of Parliament of Owls. Hopefully.
Well, I think that'll happen.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, man. I'd like to make it that it's, I want to play the part of the ringleader in a circus, but have all these great features that I could exploit. No, not exploit, but showcase, So if I have somebody that's part of that Parliament of Owls team that's in town, they could maybe come up and play a song or two, type of thing. I kind of look at, I guess, like Queens of the Stone Age a couple years ago kind of did that with, like, say, bringing in like Mark Lanigan for some songs, or having kind of guys, whether, be any of that little desert team, you know what I mean? That's kind of like the unofficial kind of part of the Queens of the Stone Age type of thing.
Yeah,
It does make sense. Yep.
That's
All right,
the goal, anyways. That'd be a dream, is to, and it means a lot to me, because I want to, part of why I'm doing this, because I worked for years and years, trying to grow careers in management and in other industries. And there was years that I didn't even touch guitar. And you always had that thing in you that you just weren't, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing a disservice to the people that might have believed in you along the way. And I started all this not necessarily as the number one goal is to make music or to play live or entertain. It was to be able to become fearless in life. So to expose myself nonstop, to be vulnerable nonstop, and to be able to handle that pressure. That's the goal of all this, or else I wouldn't have, ever wanted to step foot on stage. But you feel like you kind of owe it to people, especially, there's people that I owe it to that aren't with us anymore. And that's my goal, is to kind of, be fearless in what I do. So I actively try to learn everything. I actively, even if I'm not ready to do something, I will expose myself, because that's where I get the most knowledge, and the most that I could learn from is facing all those fears. You see so many times with people nowadays that instantly you back out of it. And I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And I'm actively trying to kind of go to the fringe to say, I know I don't know how to do that, and I know I can't do that, but I need to be able to trust myself, because deep down in life, we could have like a strong circle of support, but you're on your own. So I never want to be caught in a situation that I can't step up and say, I'll drive,
Yeah.
Good philosophy. I like it.
We're the same in that. Like, I always learn new things without, like, I say yes before I even know how to do it, and then I figure it out. I think that's the way to do it, for sure. Believing in yourself, which is great. Lovely to hear.
And it's, my philosophy in life is that I'll never get to that point that I'm fearless, but it's that process of actively trying to get to that point, So on stage, I need to be fearless. In front of anybody, I need to be fearless. I need to not have that, because a lot of people, they deal with anxieties, and I think everybody's journey through anxiety is different. And I don't think that's the terrible thing with it, is I don't think you could ever actively articulate what that anxiety might mean to you. So people say, like, oh, just don't think about it. But like, it's, I think, a very personal thing. And I find that the only times that I feel anxiety is if I let it take me. So if I say, like, oh, I don't know, instead of saying, like, go through it, you know what I mean? And I've made a lot of progress. Like, there's a lot of things that, I just look at it. I use the word I don't care, but really that's meaning that, like, there's zero fear in what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I also kind of know the progression of where I'm going with this music. And I know that people may not see it right now. If they come see me, they might say, oh, it's all right. But like, I know where I'm going with this. And like I said earlier, like, it won't be a secret for very long. And I don't think that that's anything, it's more of kind of like manifestation, that I know what dots I have to cross off to get to the point that where I want to be. And it's all right in front of me. It's just, it's a little bit, it takes time to get to those steps. But, I want to inspire some people for music. That would be amazing. But I want to inspire people to believe in themselves and know that it's not a bad thing that nobody's coming to help you. You know what I mean? Like, once you could empower yourself, it just opens up the door of what you can do. And you realize, like, how all these limitations in life are self-imposed, So.
Makes perfect sense to me.
I knew you were going to say that because he said your go word right there, manifestation, baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big,
Yeah.
I'm a big, sometimes it's hard to, continue on the path of believing that it's coming and that you've put it out there and it's all gonna, you've put it on paper or you've put it in your head and you've said it out loud and you believe it's going to happen. But sometimes you question yourself. You're a human being. Right?
Yeah.
So
I think, for because I don't necessarily believe in one thing at all, but I believe, and you can kind of transpose it to what I'm doing. The reality of a man that hadn't performed anywhere to anybody on this planet 11 months ago, who's 43, of finding great success in the music industry is zero. But I need to figure out how to put odds in my favor. So I look at kind of what I'm doing, not only as a small business that I'm trying to grow, but also kind of like how if you work for large companies and they all put in money for the lotto, they probably won't win it, but they need to increase their odds. So I'm trying to learn so many different things, whether it be video production, whether it be, like a little web series that I'm doing, songwriting, performing, booking, managing, any of that stuff I need to learn. So at least I could increase my odds. You know what I mean? Because if you have the odds of zero, then there's zero chance. So, that's how I kind of reference it with manifestation. Is for me, manifestation isn't like the be all end all, but it's another thing that I could kind of put on my side of like, if you believe in it and you visualize it, that's far better and you have a far greater success rate than not believing in it. And you know what I mean? Like,
yep. The courage to see, you see it and then you have the courage to say it and then it comes to fruition. Yeah. I love it.
Because like for what I'm doing, I shouldn't be doing this. Nobody would give me a chance. And when I started, nobody gave me a chance. But fuck everybody, like,
yeah.
What does anybody know?
With you. I was just about to say the same thing.
We're the same age too, by the way. Like, the only difference is I at least have the courage to fucking be vulnerable and say, I'll take a chance. I'd sure rather take a chance and fail than sit there and criticize my friend by saying like, oh yeah, I could have did this or you should have did that. It's time's short, man. Nothing's taken for granted. So I'd rather sleep at night knowing that I'm trying at this and working really hard than just to keep shriveling up my soul every single day and going to a job that I despise and being miserable. Because we're all going to die, man. It doesn't really matter. So you might as well do what you want to do.
Yeah, we all take the dirt nap. That's eventually.
Look at you, huh? Yeah. All right, Wade, why don't you tell my pal Gus about your Instagram page for your dog?
I would love to. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
I wish we could just talk the whole time about my dog. My
the
dog
two of you probably could.
Yeah, I know. This will be the second time that you guys invite me on. It'll be nothing but talking about my dog. So he's a 3-year-old French Bulldog. His name's Charlie, but we never call him that. We seem to call him Rooney or Babaroo or Bud or 30 other different names. He responds to none of them, by the way. So, yeah, he has an Instagram page. He has I think almost 14,000 followers. We do silly little videos for him. He's had one video that was really popular. I think it's done almost 3 million views, I think. But
wow.
If you want to have a strong Instagram game, you just do it with your dog. Every dog has like 10,000 followers. But yeah, it's Charlie_Gray_Poe. But you can also find it if you go on my Instagram at Parliament of Owls Music. You can find that too. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I love him. He's a good boy.
Yeah. Well, the reason I did that too is because Gus has a dog as well.
Not
me. An actual dog.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's 2 dogs there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got an Aussie Shepherd.
Oh yeah, they're gorgeous dogs, man.
Yeah, she's slightly energetic.
A little bit.
Yeah. But the funny thing is we had a dog prior to that named Hendrix. And that was like the light of my life for so long. And it was just like one of those dogs, that just like, how everybody had maybe your dog is like that too. It's just that one dog. Everybody gets that one pet that just sort of you remember forever. Not that I don't like Pretzel, but I'm just saying, like that's the dog's name, by the way, Pretzel.
Yeah. Charlie, he's you know, like you always lose them, and that's the, you know, I believe life is ironies, you know, and a lot of paradoxes too. But the thing that loves you the most, that you love the most, you have for the shortest period of time in your life, and that's the tragedy of a dog. Because like he's just my little. I don't have a child of my own, but like it's just like your son. You know what I mean? Like goes everywhere, gives you like so much emotion, like able to convey emotions, convey manipulation in their face, you know, like, yeah, it's just, you just wonder how you ever got through a day without them before you had them, you know, they're just so special. So trust me, I knew it.
Yeah. You know what they said? Someone told me once about dogs, is why they live so short is because they have life figured out right away. It's like unconditional love for their whole life. And that's why it's so short, because it's you know, and that's why they always say the good die young. But it's really a true thing. Anybody that you kind of cared about, you always think, oh, they're gone, they died too soon, or they did that. But that person like really squeezed the bar rag of life every day. You know,
The bar rag of life.
you know. So
Well, if that's the premise for living a short life and having it all figured out, I'm going to live forever.
fair enough, bro.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Yeah.
well, you're the dog that doesn't have the dog.
Yeah, I'm the dog that
You're
doesn't
in
have it figured out.
dog years, bud.
Yeah, I am for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Instagram page, 2.6 million views on the one "I'm Your Bestie." That was pretty good.
Yeah. And it's just a silly, stupid thing. You know what I mean? Like the thing that sucks is like, I'll do one, I'll think like, oh, that's super funny, everybody's going to love it. Nobody looks at it. Then it's like the most silly thing with like, just like a couple words and it just takes off. But that's the internet, man. It's a fickle beast. It's, you'll put in work on something and nobody looks at it, then it'll just be some random thing that takes off, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
You pocket video dial something and a billion views.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's difficult because nowadays a lot of, especially, I guess, kind of what I'm doing is it's all based around social media, right? And it's so difficult. There's certain templates that I think work, but then it becomes that same sort of feeling of going to work, because it's like I'm kind of cheating people, I'm kind of doing shifty things type of thing to make it grow. You believe in something organic, but I don't know, man. It's a weird thing.
It is.
It is for sure.
It is.
I have a question. This one came to me the other day. If you could go back in time to experience a musical event, what would it be and
That's
why?
a good question.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. It could be like, I'll just give you a few examples. It could be like going back to Woodstock. It could be going back to, say, the one that I would probably go back to would probably, I'd love to be at Folsom Prison when Johnny Cash recorded that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of event.
I'll say mine real quick.
Yeah.
You know when Elvis does the show where he's in the black leather suit?
Oh, that's 67 comeback special. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
Yeah, it's I think it's natural for your brain to go to large scale events, which I would hate the most, because I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the lack of facilities or the people in the mud of Woodstock. That doesn't sound like fun to me at all.
You'd be like tripping on acid, so it wouldn't be as bad.
It would have to be something that would be very intimate, maybe, you know. But also, like, I don't think I think a lot of those big events that hold you know, they get held in such high regard, like a Woodstock or I don't know, Hendrix. I think that there's they're kind of mystic because so many people will never get to see it. So I don't know if it might kind of take a little bit of it's like this video that I'm doing right now. Oh, we're on 20% battery. That's good. But we have my flowers and a head there, but like, it's just crap against the walls. You know what I mean? So like, you're able to kind of paint a picture on things. And I think that like, if you see like a large event like Woodstock and you see it, it's captured through like the cameras and stuff like that, when you're there in person, it might be slightly different. I don't know, better or worse. But I don't know, to answer your question, those things always stump me, man. Cause like, I always want to give like a true answer. And I find like those answers don't necessarily pop into your head right away. So yeah, I don't know, man.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer
Very
that.
roundabout way to say I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
know. Yeah. I always
Fair
want to
enough.
kind of give my best representation of something. So, like, when somebody says, like, what's your favorite album? It's like, I'll get back to you in like 3 weeks when I think about this, you know?
What is your favorite album?
Shit, I knew you were going to do that, man.
He'll get back to you in
I
3
do
weeks.
have a favorite album. My favorite album,
excellent.
because I've played it more than any other album tenfold, would be Queens of Stone Age released an album called Songs for the Deaf, I guess probably early 2000s, I would say. And that, I think I went through 3 different like CDs of it. I probably played that start to finish because I'm a big fan of an album that carries a flow, you know? So like you can listen to a song, but also you're able to listen to it through, you know, and for, you know, whether it be 30 minutes, 60 minutes, it kind of takes you on a bit of a journey. And that one definitely does. So I've probably listened to that album, I would say it would have to be in the ballpark of 500 to 800 times, I'd have to think. So that would have to be on paper, definitely my favorite album ever.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anybody ever told you look like Zach Brown?
No, I haven't gotten that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a lot taller.
You look like Zach Brown.
Okay, well then now there's one person.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's
Very
great because
important
anybody that watches is going to be like, oh, the Zach Brown guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never gotten that. I would wear a like a toque a lot, like a beanie kind of pushed back, and people would say there is an actor named Ryan Hurst who played Opie in the show Sons of Anarchy.
Yep.
Would say that.
Yep.
Even though my drummer Will Culleton, I think, looks much more
Much more.
Yeah, much more like Opie, and he has gorgeous hair, and I have no hair. I haven't had hair since I was 17, but
He definitely would because he's got the long hair, and he's also got the nice full beard as well.
Yeah,
so.
Opie was
handsome.
my favorite character.
He's a handsome man.
Yeah, so much more handsome than
Ooh.
me too. He doesn't get enough credit for being so handsome.
Yeah.
It's because he's in the back and he's a drummer.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm going to move him
those
to the
two
front.
things.
He's going to play drums. Drums
He'll
on
play
the
right beside you. Right.
What was the band? I think it was called Trans Am. Do you guys remember Trans Am? But I think
don't.
the drummer was
Dogma.
the singer, and they moved the drums right up to the very front, type of thing. But
And trippy.
yeah,
You'll
he'll
to watch. I don't know if I can watch that.
But if you do that, where are you going to put Wendy?
on top of the drum kit.
There you go. Yeah.
He's going to stand on the kick.
I'm sure she would like that.
Then I'll just fade off to the back because nobody really watches me anyways. So
Right. Nobody at all. Not even a little bit.
yeah.
You beardos are getting after it, eh?
Yeah, we're beardos. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever used Bush Beard product?
I haven't. The funny thing is, with my beard, I've had. I'm 43, and I've had facial hair since I was 17. So I truly don't know what I look like. You'd probably be the same, man, given the length of your beard. But I've had a beard for probably 20 years, like this, maybe a little bit bigger at times. And so many people come up to me and they want to talk about beards, and I don't, unless I see myself. And it's a little different now because with playing music, your image gets captured a lot more, obviously, than if you're just going to work a 9 to 5. So I see myself a lot more nowadays. But like prior to that, it wouldn't be until I walk by like a mirror or something that I'd be like, oh wow, I have a giant beard, because I can't really see it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people come up and like want to talk beard stuff. And I use, even though my spouse is a barber, like she'll maintain it for me, but like we don't use any product. We don't do anything. I use Head and Shoulders and blow dry it, and that's it. You know what I mean? I probably should use something, but if I want to be really nice, we do have like these balms that we put in it. But no, I follow the Bush Beard people, but yeah, no, I haven't used any sponsor. I'd be a terrible sponsor for any of that stuff, anyways.
Yeah,
Like,
we're
do
going
you
to
use
make
a
sure
product?
she
Like,
doesn't
I don't
listen
know. It
to
just
this
sits
one.
on the shelf. I don't know. I use Head and Shoulders. Maybe they could sponsor me.
There you go.
Fair
Procter
enough.
and Gamble, if that's what they are.
Oh, we'll get Candace to fire you. We'll get something for him. We'll gotta send him a little.
I'll tell you what,
book.
if they're kind enough to give me product, I will most certainly use it.
She sponsors our show, so we should send you something. I mean, really.
Hey, that would be cool, man.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, maybe send me like $1,000 too. I don't know.
$1,000. All right. Well,
All right.
you could have. I mean, you should have asked for more, really.
Rent's coming up.
But yeah, because we're that.
Do you want to play something? You're holding your guitar.
Yeah. It's like a security blanket. I do it all. I go to the bank and I bring my guitar, just
to deposit your $1,000 that you just asked
exactly.
for.
Hopefully,
just straight cash. What do you want to play? Play us something.
Well, I'm in. Well, do you want to hear Jolene?
Yeah.
Sure.
Am I allowed to do that? Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
I suspect so. We might get yelled at.
We might get yelled at by Dolly, but that's okay.
She's okay with it. Dolly Parton wrote the song. If we say that, does that work?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Dolly Parton wrote this? I thought it was Beyonce.
Oh, how mistaken are you?
He's kidding.
I know he's
You
kidding.
better know.
I better know.
Even though I heard Miley Cyrus do a cover of this, and actually I didn't think it was bad at all. I thought it was actually pretty good.
Oh, Miley's very talented.
Yep.
Yeah. Forgive me, my voice probably isn't warmed up, but and my neighbors might hate my guts, but whatever. Not going to live a long life. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Beauty is beyond compare, with flame locks of auburn hair and ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Smiles like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain. I cannot compete with you, Jolene. Talks about you in his sleep, there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. I could easily understand how you could easily take my man. You're the only one for me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just 'cause you can. You could have your choice, man. I can never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you. Whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just 'cause you can. Jolene, Jolene.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah. We like that.
Thanks.
Now, is that the kind of stuff you grew up with, Wade? I know you're younger than me, but like that's the stuff I listened to growing up, sort of like the
I
old
wouldn't
country.
say my mother was a fan of Dolly Parton, but I guess, yeah, I'd say in a roundabout way. There would be a lot of grew up with a lot of like Tom Petty, a lot of Roy Orbison. I know like my grandfather, who would be around too, would listen to a lot of the country stuff like that. That was kind of my early influence from music. And then as soon as you're 10 and you hear Thunderstruck, you're like, oh, this is what I like now. I like AC/DC and Aerosmith. But that was like a lot of fond memories growing up is I think whenever my parents were, in their maybe late 20s type of thing, and you'd have family guests over and stuff like that, and I'd be a little kid, and there'd always be Roy Orbison playing or Tom Petty or a lot of Traveling Wilburys, stuff like that would always be kind of playing. And that just kind of gets embedded into your head as fond memories. So there's a bit of nostalgia with stuff like that. But yeah, I would say stuff like that. And then, I found heavy metal, and it was kind of like, I don't want to listen to any of that crap. And then you get older and you realize, oh, that crap is actually really, really good.
Yeah. For sure. I love the Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Such a weird,
there's
like listen to them, like all of those guys on their own are obviously brilliant, and put it together.
Yep.
It's almost like it's a weird like Muppet Show sort of vibe that all the songs that they come up with. You know what I mean? Like that it's all very poppy and it's a hit and it's catchy. But like just having all their ranges of voices, it just reminds me of like a weird Muppet Show thing in a very endearing way. Not saying that that's a bad thing, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to put it. Actually, I actually find the combination of them so good. Like Roy Orbison, I find I always forgot about how great his voice is. Like he has like an incredible voice. Like I just love his voice actually.
Yeah, one of my
Even
favorite songs
Pretty
of all
Woman.
time is "Running Scared" by Roy Orbison.
Oh, what a great song! Love that song.
Yeah, I don't
I always
think
think
I
like
don't
why
you'd have to
that
think
song
about
has been used for like trailers of movies, you know, just because it could translate into even like a slasher film. It just like the build up of all of it is just, you know, anthemic almost, you know.
Yeah. Well, he had a few that were like really good. Like that one, I like Uptown too. That's a really good, more upbeat Roy Orbison tune. Like, you know, and then you got your, you know, your classic Roy Orbison tunes. But like you said, the five of them together is just like Jeff Lynne. I mean, you know, all the guys in that band, like standalone, amazing. And then you put them together and it's just as incredible.
Yeah,
Was
I
it
just
Running-
can't ever
Running
wrap my
Scared?
head around how they
Running
would have
Scared.
convinced Bob Dylan to do anything.
Yeah, seriously, with other people.
Yeah, I know. Like, I watched.
maybe
I
George
watched
had a
that,
bit of a say in that.
It was like a behind the music type of thing on. I think it was like the We Are the World that was on Netflix. Came out a little while ago, and it was kind of through. I think like Lionel Richie's kind of eyes of what transpired that night, and just watching poor Bob Dylan up there, just all these ego driven, big voice people, and it's like, okay, and now you sing, Bob, and it's like I don't want to be here, man. Like what?
Yeah,
I made a
seriously.
serious mistake coming here.
Yeah. Boy, did I ever screw this up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
seriously.
I'm firing my agent.
And then, and then the Canadian version of that would be Neil Young.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
They were saying there was a thing on that too when they did their version, like their song, and what's his name? The producer was like, "Neil, you're singing out of key," and he looks at him, and he goes, "That's my style, man."
Yeah, but that's another one. How
Like
how
that's
I
the
said
perfect
before
response,
about,
right?
About singing with conviction. He's another one. He's and all due respect, but he's a terrible singer. But everything he does is magic. You know what I mean? Like when he sings it, it's phenomenal. And I think that's not to ever compare myself to anybody that has credibility like that, but like I realize that I do have a bit of a unique voice. So figure out how to do that really good instead of saying like, "Wow, I wish I sounded like whoever."
Well, then you don't get that comparing. Oh, that guy Wade, he's trying to sound like so and so. No, you sound like Wade, and that's the way it should be.
It's a very natural thing, I think, for humans to want to latch on to something because, once again, like I said, like I'm trying to be fearless, so I'm trying to trust where I could go, and if I do it well, everybody will be here, and I'll be way over there. But that appeals a lot more to me than being over here, and I think it's very easy for people to say like, this person's successful, this person's influential to me. I want to kind of sound like that, instead of saying like, how do I take a risk and figure out what the hell I sound like,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I never sang. I didn't even know I had a voice until, like maybe a year and a half ago, and I was lucky enough, like my spouse said, like, you could sing. And I'm like, I don't think I can. And then you start realizing, oh no, this person does believe in you. You know what I mean? So they're not just blowing smoke up your ass. Because, I was married a time before, and bless my ex-wife, but music and art wasn't exactly her thing. So when I would try to be creative, it'd be like, can you go do that somewhere else? And when you hear that enough, you're like, oh, it's because I'm shit. You know what I mean? Like I'll just stop doing that forever then and never do that again. But I think I'm fortunate later in life to have figured that out. Whether it's early or late, as long as you figure it out, man, who cares?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'm sorry that you put it off like that, but it comes out. You've probably been writing in your head for a long time before that even. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
it does take someone to give you that push.
What's that?
It does take someone to give you that push, right?
Yeah, it does. It's but yeah, for me, it's I don't believe in like everything happens for a reason, but like it's like have you guys watch like the Marvel movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like in Avenger Endgame, it's like Tony Stark. It's like Doctor Strange says to him, like, if I tell you, you know, like it won't happen. And then there's exact moments that it's like the time is now. And in a stupid way, I feel like for me, it's like I had the opportunity to build up this lifetime of, you know, different, because I've lived a lot of different lives. You know, like I worked for a year in Africa. I've, you know, got high up in oil and gas. I've lost everything. I've had stuff like, I've had a lot of different lives. And people would say like, oh, it would have been nice if you figured this out earlier, but I wouldn't be able to do exactly what I'm doing right now and do it with conviction if I hadn't lost and gained and lost and gained and did that and have kind of life credibility. You know what I mean? Like, so there's nothing that really phases me because I've seen a whole lot in 43 years and I've done a whole lot in 43 years. So like that's the time is right now. And I'm just fortunate that I have a little bit of an opportunity to try to do that, you know?
Yeah. It's true.
It is true.
Never too late, bro.
Never.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time when you thought about quitting music altogether, other than the one that you just mentioned?
Well, like I said, I've only done this for a year. Now, within that year, yeah, there's plenty of shows. Like I'll play like a solo show, for like a dinner service, you know, and it's like 6 p.m. and I'm ready to blast Jolene in their ears, and you know they have a little baby newborn 3 feet away from me, and like old Nan has just gotten out of the old age home to have their prime rib dinner somewhere, and I'm playing and they're plugging their ears. I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing? You know, like, but those places are also gracious enough to pay you, so you kind of say like, okay, this is good practice, I guess. But yeah, there's plenty of times, man. It's a very isolated thing to get into this, and especially like nobody knew who I was, like I said, so I'm only building these connections, you know what I'm only, people are only finding out who I am and what I could do. For the longest time nobody knew who I was, so you're on your own and you only have that negative thought in your head of saying like, you're stupid, what are you doing, this is dumb, just do it safe, you know, go back to the job that you hated because everybody else is doing that. And people say like, well, how do you make, what are you doing, you know, why are you doing that, like, oh, you must be broke. And yes, I am, but they don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And they don't know that I see kind of an end game of where I need to go. So yeah, there's, man, honestly, like it may not come across, but there's probably in a month 5 times that I'm like, what am I doing this for? You know what I mean? Like I'll make a music video and people are like, well, that's stupid. Why'd you do that? And it's like, is it stupid? You know, it's tough because I think by nature, you're kind of a bit of a product of your environment. And when people are saying like, oh, that's stupid, why'd you do that? Or you should do this or do that. Why are you doing that? You know, it takes a strong mind, but still you let those thoughts kind of creep in and say like, is it stupid? Like, am I doing something stupid? So you almost kind of have to take, you know, another personality that you kind of keep in your head to say like, no, you're doing everything right. And you kind of gravitate towards that one whenever you need a little bit of help. But yeah, sure, man, there's plenty of times, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of more times that I'm going to say, what the heck am I doing? You know, like this is, you know, like I said, like the odds of success in what I'm trying to do is, you know, 0.000 whatever. All I'm trying to do is move a decimal point, you know?
That's a good way to put it.
Well, I think you've got a good start, like in the last year, and you've set yourself up. Like, I mean, putting yourself out there with James Leclerc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a good guy, and he's a talent.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get yourself surrounded by people who think the same way that you do, and I think it'll go further. It'll go where you want it to go. It really will. It's just you got to get away from those naysayers. Mm-hmm. And I find most of the people that are trying to bring you down are jealous of where you're going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, whenever you do that and you bring somebody down, I don't think they realize what they're doing, but it's shining a light directly on them, saying, "What are you doing?" Well, mm-hmm. If you're not doing anything, the easiest thing to do is try to pull. It's like crab mentality, right? Like if you put crabs in a pot of boiling water, if one's trying to escape, the other one's just bring them back down, so they all die. You know, it's that sort of mentality. But I think that's kind of human nature. That being said, it is difficult sometimes not to kind of have one ear kind of opening up to that, saying like, oh, maybe they're right, but they're not, you know? And also, I just want to do something special. You know, you only get one shot at this. Life's very short, and you never know what's going to happen. So I just want to do special things, you know, like even like in October in Cornwall, there's like a historic jail that's been shut down for a while, but it's been around for like 180 years or something like that, like in that ballpark. And I went and did like a performance like at 3 a.m. with all the lights off, playing like one of my songs, Shallow Holes, to absolutely nobody except this supposed haunted place, just because I thought, wow, I have such a cool opportunity to do something. And nobody in the history apparently has ever done that before, ever like brought in instruments to perform there, especially with the lights off and you know, at 3 a.m. on Halloween type of thing, you know. But just like, you know, I'd love to play like the similar thing at like the Diefenbunker, you know, just like different experiences that, you know, nobody does, you know. At that same jail, I'm trying. Oh, yeah, and there's also you know, you don't want to jump too far ahead, but like I'm kind of have been in negotiations to actually perform at a jail, like put on a concert, you know, like a Folsom prison outside of Kingston. I'm not going to name anything else because I don't want to jinx it, you know, but, you know, I've some people that are kind of working with me to help me kind of do something like that. I just want to do things different that makes, you know, that interest me, that I'd say like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody did that? I don't want there to be any boundaries on not being able to do anything. I don't want to be that guy that says like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody did that? I want to say, can it be done? Like, why can't I do that? Because I kind of want that memory, you know?
I will do that.
Or how cool was that?
Yeah,
man, way
like,
to go, right?
And like I said, like the secret will be out soon enough. Like I'm choosing to live my life the way I want to live it. Whether right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. It's, you know, all kind of subjective, but I just want to do special things, and hopefully that will kind of let other people that are creative kind of take that leash off them to be like, yeah, you know what, we can just kind of do special things. Because I think especially in this industry, people say, this is how you do it. This is the proper way to succeed. This is who you talk to. This is what you do. I say, fuck all that. Do fucking whatever the hell you want, man. Like, be an individual. And you'd even see, like, I think it's portrays a little bit even when I'm on stage that I'm kind of a monster more than a singer, you know, like that I kind of take up a lot of space, you know, because I don't think there's a whole lot of, I don't want to say frontmen, but like spectacles on stage. You know what I mean? Like people have nice bands, they make nice music, people go, you have dance, have some beers. Oh, that was really nice. But like, you know, you don't see a whole lot of Rob Zombies nowadays, you know?
No,
Not like
no, you don't.
But like, I just want to bring that to say like, I'm a character and I'm going to fucking be a character. You know what I mean? If that's who I am, then that's what I'm going to be. I'm not going to pretend I'm anything but, you know?
Fair enough.
No,
And we don't want you to.
Good.
Tell us a little bit about your show on Saturday night. You referenced it on Sunday. It got a little rowdy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was at Lola's in Cornwall. It was supposed to be with Chops, the bass player that played with James Leclerc. His other band, Slow Tom and the Handsome Devils, but the other guys got sick in the band, couldn't make it. So we got a local band called Big Mule, who was great. But yeah, Tom wanted to play at Lola's, so we facilitated to play there, but there's not much of a stage or lights or sound system or anything like that. So it was a good show. Everybody enjoyed it, but like the last little bit, kind of the nefarious crowd started coming in, and they're pretty young, intoxicated. I think like out back, they're having a nut kicking contest where they all went in a circle and they kicked each other in the nuts for pleasure or reward. I have yet to find out, but that's not a show I really want to see. Unless I'm in Vegas or Tijuana or something like that. But in Cornwall, I don't want to see that. But yeah, we did Friends in Low Places, Garth Brooks song, as an encore, and we're going to do another song after that. But they're all just kind of stormed the stage, and we said, okay, yeah, we're all done here, man. Thanks for coming out. And they're like, we want more music. It's like, nah, we're not Not going to do that, man.
Put on the jukebox, baby.
It was a good time, and everybody had a good time.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was. We hope to. We play a show on the 15th of June at the Dominion Tavern with Slow Tom. So hopefully we can bring it back down to.
That's a good venue for you guys. That'll be a lot of fun.
No nut kicking contests there usually.
No, I hope there'll be very limited nut kicking that night.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that's not anything I've gotten into in my life, but maybe that'll be another part of me being fearless, right?
That's
there
right.
you go.
Never say no.
What's the date for that one?
What the show or
at the Dominion.
Dominion, yeah.
That is just be with us, Parliament Vowels, Slow Tom, and Handsome Devils.
Yeah,
and that's June 15th.
June the 15th.
Yeah.
So check my calendar because I'd like to see Slow Tom and the Handsome Devils too.
Yeah, and then we also at the end of this month we have a pretty big show in Kingston for their Spring Reverb festival that will be opening up for a band called Bleecker and Boston Levi.
Boston Levi,
big show.
Nice.
That's at the Ale House. I think we'd be on first, so I think it's probably like 7:30 or so we play, but you can look that up. But
who's putting on that show?
That is, I think, through Kingston Punk Productions, who is Mark Garnis and his wife Moira. They put on all this stuff. They look after the Kingston Film Festival. Like they don't want to admit it, but they're running Kingston right now.
Nice.
But I was actually a roommate years and years ago with Mark Garnis, who played in a band called I Hate Sally, and they're a hardcore band. But yeah, I was roommates with him for a little while. So yeah, we hope that'll kind of bring on some new things. But
nice.
Yeah, man, it'll be a good time.
Nice. 80s or 90s? What decade's
Oh,
better?
yeah, just slide that right in there.
Oh, we're almost at the end.
Yeah.
80s or 90s when I lived with them?
No,
decade.
The decade of music do you prefer?
Oh shit. There's good and bad with all of it, man.
You got to pick one.
You have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I'd say definitely 90s. I'd have to say 90s. I think that there's more that you could, whether it be Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, even though Soundgarden was a tiny little bit of the 80s, but like any of that era, I think still holds up nowadays. I'm a big fan of Clutch too. Clutch was a little bit tail end of
Clutch.
90s.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and any of that stuff. I'd say 90s, even though there are some, a lot of the 80s though, I find was the kind of the holdover from the 70s, or at least that sort of style, like AC/DC or Aerosmith, stuff like that. I liked it for the 80s, but yeah, I'd say definitely 90s.
Nice. Well, thanks for another.
Don't
win
smile
for
at me. Don't you dare smile at me like that. The reason we asked that question, Wade, is because I'm more of an 80s guy, and Gus is more of a 90s guy, and he's just crushing me here.
Yeah,
well, it's
he's killing me.
I mean,
killing me.
It's not just because. I mean, the proof is in the numbers.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, I disagree.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
but
you go with the numbers.
Guys, I have 1% battery life, so I'm done. So
so are we.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Yeah. Thank you
I
for
want to
coming,
thank
Wade.
you guys genuinely for having me on. I hope to talk to you guys again sometime real soon, and I hope to bump into you guys and maybe spend some time just chilling in person as well.
Yeah, man.
June
Thank you.
15th.
June 15th. Thanks,
June
Wade.
15th. Yeah, and anything. Yeah, Permanent Vowels music on Instagram. www.parliamentvowels.bandzoogle.com has all show listings, stuff like that. You can buy merch, any of that stuff. But thank you so much, guys. You enjoy the rest of your day. Go take your dog for a walk. That's what I'm definitely going to do because he's going to be mad at me. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
buddy.
Dog and Gus, Dog and Gus, Dog and Gus.